was in South Africa, didn't I?
Oh,
Yeah, you did. No, you did one for South Africa. I still got that one.
I did a couple.
You did.
We're on now. We're on. Stop your rambles. Inspiration Nation. Hello, Lee Kemp here, back for the podcast. Jose, Noya, Ryan Boniface, a full complement. We are here. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, good.
Thank you. I'm glad Lee remembered this podcast exists.
Thanks very much. So, who is subjecting today? I think it's you, Jose, isn't it?
It is
what
me.
I'd like to do is tell people what we're doing so they know what they're in for. But then I quickly want to just run something by you once you've introed the subject.
Right.
So tell us what we're talking about.
Right. Okay. Right. So today,
that confused him, didn't it?
It just went, what is going on? So today the quote is: "A person is not made for defeat. A person can be destroyed, but not defeated." By Ernest Hemingway.
Oh, I like it. Thank you. So what you're supposed to do is, and you said this, Jose, is you get in your subject really quickly so you don't lose people dropping off listening, which is why I want you to get the subject out there. But because you took so long to get it out, it's probably had no effect whatsoever. But anywho, now that I'm back to corral the shit properly, I used my good friend. So I wasn't here last week because I was away. So I ran the audio for last week's podcast through my good friend ChatGPT to get a nice summary to go on our page. I also then revisited my good friend ChatGPT and I asked it to summarise for me any time that you guys were either critical or made jokes about me during the show.
I love this already.
Ryan opens up by humorously stating that he feels a host that he hosts a podcast more than he doesn't. So obviously you're now taking over hosting duties from today.
No, you were struggling there, Lee, to actually read that. Just letting you know.
Then both Ryan and Jose discussed Lee being away in Poland, and Ryan jokingly speculated that Lee might bring back some Polish something or other. And then there's a light jab at Lee's reliability during the early days of the podcast, recalling a time when I used to set up for the podcast but rarely turn up. So obviously, I was just the butt of all the jokes last week.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love that. It's so good.
Also, I just got a bit of it. Jose speculating on Lee's trip. I think he's gone to look at some Christmas markets. I think so. He might have some family there or his wife. I can't remember. So not only are you making jokes,
that's what I said.
You can't really remember.
I think ChatGPT might get confused. Do you think ChatGPT is confused a little bit there, Ryan?
Because I then said, "Can you validate this?"
I'm not sure.
Provided me the quotes from when you spoke about it, and it gave me the exact quotes.
What did I say you'd bring back from Poland?
Ryan, I don't know. He might bring back some Polish. I don't know, some Polish something or other.
It may sound like I said something really
some
bad.
Polish something or other.
I definitely didn't. I didn't say anything bad.
No, all jibes, good fun. So this is now whenever I miss a podcast, this is what I'm going to be doing. Analysis on podcasts. Anyway, that's a complete ramble we didn't need, but I thought it'd be quite funny to go through with you guys. So
I actually really think that's really cool. That's really cool.
Give us your Ernest Hemingway on your opening thoughts, please, Jose. Give us again your Ernest Hemingway. Would you
like me to repeat it? Because you've probably forgotten it, right? That was
the exact question I just asked, yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Right, okay. So a person is not made for defeat. A person can be destroyed, but not defeated. Ernest Hemingway. Thank you, Clara, for the likes. Thank you, appreciate that. You can ask a question.
Jose Noya, Inspirational Nation, on Google machine. Love it.
Clara is liking this live. Fantastic. We appreciate it.
Is this quote from, remember what bloody book? It's the one about the fish.
I don't know.
All I know
is that I'm sure it's the one about a fish. No.
Finding Nemo too.
All I know is that he's an American novelist, very influential, and he usually writes about love, loss, and masculinity. That's what I got. I'm good, thank you, Clara. How are you? So, any thoughts on this, or do you want me to sort of just give you my thoughts? What you're thinking?
Yeah, you open up some thoughts, and then we shall share ours afterwards.
So I love this because a lot of my focus recently has been on us guys' mental health and the pressures that we can all face as we go through our lives. And I quite like it in this situation because we've got decades between us. Ryan is the youngest, though Lee would like to think he's the youngest, but he's not. Lee comes second, and then I come third as the eldest here and the most wisest that Lee tried to grab the podcast. And now Lee's interrupting me and my podcast ramblings. Please, Lee, can you refrain from interrupting me?
Apologies.
That would be great. Thank you. Good. Just to let you know, so this is my thoughts on this. Thank you, Lee, thank you for humouring me there. I love that. So for me, this podcast or this lovely quote from Ernest Hemingway, I'll get it right in a moment, is resilience. So what it's saying there, a person is not made for defeat. So they can be destroyed, but you can't be defeated. I love this because, yes, I mean, I love the other quote that goes with this that says, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I think it's sort of a play on that, right? So you're not dead. So if you survived it, then you can be stronger. I love that. And this for me talks about the resilience and bounce back ability from all the setbacks. And one of the things that I knew helped me back when I was younger and in my career was, you know, the setbacks. You sort of go, oh, I wish that didn't happen. And just to let you know, and the things that we talk about in this podcast are that your backstory does not define you. You actually learn a lot from it, and all the difficult things that I went through, I now would never change them having gone through this journey, because now I'm doing this stuff, and I would never have done it had I not gone through that, which is a really strange thing. We don't like to think that we have to go through those difficult times, but we all do as guys, and that means when we go through those difficult times and survive and come out the other end, we are stronger, and that'll give us more strength to face the challenges that are ahead of us. And that's why I love this podcast, because it almost prepares us for those moments that are going to clearly arise again, but we will move on and be stronger. So that's my take on it. Any thoughts from any of you?
First of all, I'd like to say I'm really enjoying your Dermot O'Leary style Radio 2 voice you're doing right now. It's very soothing and relaxing.
I appreciate it. I love this.
It's good. No, it's good. So, Ryan, The Old Man and the Sea. So you were in the right ballpark with the book, which is not a reference I would have even got. So well done on that. I like it too, Jose, for the same reason you said it is. It's the picking yourself up and dusting yourself off thing. And I guess it really emphasises the point that things can be really bad. Like, you can be destroyed but not defeated, but you still get back up again. You can still keep going. Exactly like you said, resilience. And I think last time we did one of these when I was on, which was probably about 6 months ago or something like that, based on what you guys were saying. I talked about that fact that it's really easy to see, or something I have done is you see the negative state or the down state or the bad state as the default, and when stuff's good, you're almost waiting for it to get bad again, rather than the other way around, that when it's bad, inevitably it's going to get good again. So why can't you be kind of looking ahead to that? And I think this ties into that message, which again, back to the mental health thing you're saying, it's just that there will be tough times. There will be times where things don't go your way. There will be things when situations against you or people against you or anything else. But it's all temporary. It all moves on. And I think this really ties into that. And I think it's a really good way of illustrating that message. You know what it made me think of, actually? Frank Sinatra song, That's Life. And where he talks about, I'm up and I went down, and, Prince and the Pauper and all that. And I think that really gives that great message that when you step back and you look at your history, there's all these, the ups and the downs and the bad points and the good points. And like you said, whenever you hit a good point, you're only there because of everything that happened before. So you do have to go through those things. And I think it's good just keeping all that in context when you're dealing with challenges.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, having had my own mental health challenges, and that's why I love to talk about this podcast, episode 1, where I talk about that difficult time, and the change we've had as well, mum passing away and all those sorts of things. These happen. This is life. And I think Ryan referenced it again. People do go through these things, and you're not the only one that's gone through it, but that can be comforting as well. So we can make it through. And just to know that, like Lee just said there, it's not permanent, it's temporary. I think the key here is that I was talking to someone the other day, and I think this is really important, because when we're going with strict mental health, we do have to do the work. It doesn't matter how much counselling you have or whatever, or talking you do, there is work to do. And I find this difficult to say, but I had to say this to myself, and I realised the truth, where no one's actually coming to save you. You have to do the work. Like, you have to put in that personal work.
That statement is in a film or a TV show that I've watched, and I can't remember what it is.
Oh, okay, maybe some research there, Ryan. Yeah, go on, Ryan. You're going to say, go on. What are your thoughts?
No, I was just going to say that the fact that nobody's coming to save you, I've seen that somewhere before.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Go
I
on.
imagine it's not that TV show or film or whatever it wasn't the first place that ever came up, but I've definitely seen that reference somewhere else.
Yeah, for me that was really powerful because you know when I was going through counselling and stuff like that, you think, oh, you know, when you haven't had that and you sort of the first time you're going through that real mental health challenges, that you think you'll have counselling, they'll fix you, right? It doesn't work like that. Like you think that was my thought. It's really weird. It's such a weird thought, and I look back, I think, well, how on earth would they do that? But my thought was, it's like you go to the doctors, right, and you got I don't know, something wrong with you, and they prescribe you something like an antibiotic, and I think that was that mindset that, oh, they'll give me something and then I'll be better, or they'll give me that antidepressant and I'll be better. But that's only to get you to a place where you can start to reflect and really do the work to get better and actually do some things and, you know, look after yourself a bit better and, you know, and deal with all the crap that comes with it and all, you know, processing the stories. Yes, you do have to look at the past and understand just why you felt like that, but then not holding on to it and letting it go. And that's what makes you, how you get through it. But that takes a ton of work. And this is why I'm really passionate about me, you know, tying into that. And guys, you know, I think with this is just making sure that as guys, we, you know, open up and be vulnerable about this stuff. Like, because it's okay to talk, right? It's okay to talk about this stuff. And that's why I want to talk about it. And so you know, this episode will be for you to reflect on it and, you know, have that. Because on TikTok at the minute, I'm doing a little bit of a thing where I want you to, you know, support men that struggle, you know, with being vulnerable and talking really about what's going on rather than, oh, I'm all right, you know, I'm all right, you know, and all that is, I think it's better now.
Why
but
was
I definitely want to
that
emphasize
a farmer giving that particular quote?
I don't know. Was it a farmer? I wasn't
It was
meant to be a
very
farmer.
It was
Was it
like,
very farmer?
do you remember the Far Show? And the guy would be like, this week I've been mostly eating Weetabix. You sounded like him there.
I didn't even know that, but thank you, Lee. I love that.
That's all right.
I didn't even. I didn't watch. I knew of the
many
Far Show.
voices of Jose Noya.
Yeah, but yeah, this is it, isn't it? Right. So, and I love this because this is what we want this episode to do. Like, have a bit of fun, you know, and really sort of have a place where you can come and share comments. Like, we'd love you to share the comments with us if you've got any stories you want to share and inspire other people, you know, to get that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, videos of that. Anyway, I've talked for a while there, so over to you two. That's what I'm thinking.
For me, I think the quote is really, really powerful in terms of the words it uses in a way that it encourages you to think about defeat and being destroyed as separate entities, separate scenarios. By distinguishing the difference between destroyed and defeated, one is almost a physical or material loss in being destroyed, and the other is defeat is a loss and you can't come back from that. But that doesn't mean to say that if you're destroyed you can't still win.
It's interesting. I love that. Yeah. I was interested when I thought destroyed. I thought I went even more morbid than that. I thought if I'm destroyed, then I'm dead. Like that's what I thought. That's how I thought. But I love the way you're thinking of it. That actually destroyed. Go on. What was it? What was your meaning about behind destroyed? You're saying you're still alive, right? But you're just.
Well, to simplify, it just means that the failure is to stop trying.
Yeah. That's exactly it. That's a, and might be that's a Churchillism. That is the But it's like you can lose, but it doesn't mean you've lost.
Yeah. You can lose the fight, but not the war, right? You can lose the battle, but not the war. Things like that. That's the kind of thing it makes me think. If I don't know, if you put it back to a football analogy, teams get destroyed in the first half and then somehow come back and get a result in the second half. You know, things like that.
You're gonna have to make an analogy I can understand now, Ryan. You lost me on that.
Okay. So when Tony Stark lost the 5 Infinity Stones,
that's it.
There you go. Tony Stark lost the 5 Infinity Stones and he was destroyed, and then all of a sudden he's somehow slipped them from Thanos' gauntlet and clicked his fingers.
Seamless. I'm very impressed.
I love that. It's really good. That was very quick as well. It's like, okay, I'll choose something. Lee, you challenge me. I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to show you something. You did. Well done, Ron.
I think for me as well, it helps, and I think you kind of touched on it as well, but it helps promote a growth mindset. So you can be at any scenario in your destroyed phase, recently destroyed or rebuilt to some level, but it not inspires. That's probably the wrong word. I know that's kind of the name of the podcast, but it kind of pushes you to, well, A, not give up, and B, no matter in what scenario you've left yourself, it's still achievable.
Yeah, that's that.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost
Yeah.
like if I said to you two I wanted to save £1 million, and to start with, I'm going to cancel every credit card. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to close every bank account, and I'm going to start from there. You'd think, bloody hell, he's got no chance. That would be destroyed, and then it's working your way back up to having that goal kind of saved. You know, I've given you three different analogies now, but
I love that. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's depending on what we're talking about these things as if they're world changing scenarios, right? But it also it triggered in me something like something to do with purpose. So it gives you something to strive for. It could be as simple as I want to renovate my garden, but as soon as I started, I broke all my tools because they were all brittle and fragile. But I still want to go ahead and tidy up my garden and do the bits I need to do. Um, it just, yeah, for me, it just kind of suggests that you need to pursue your goals with a purpose rather than just meandering and hoping that you land where you need to land.
Ryan, I just want to say I really love that time with purpose. When you was talking, I was thinking opportunity, because when you're destroyed or whatever the way you want to look at it, if you're still alive, you're still here, then there's an opportunity at that point to make a decision, right? Like you said, like to do the work. So you made me reflect back on when I was going through that struggle is I could have done what you said and not done anything and just stayed in that place and not done anything, right? I could have just stayed and not done anything. But what I decided to do was reflect and go, because when I was in that place, I think, well, what is this whole life about? What's the point of it all? What is the point? And what it made me reflect is, what am I actually on this planet to do? What is it? What was it? It made me examine my purpose, and that's when the work really started, and that's why I'm here right now, because I think this is this place where we share things and we inspire others to push through and have that opportunity. So I think that failure point, or whatever you want to call it, the defeat, the destruction, is in that moment. There's that opportunity to make those steps to actually become the person you want to become. Almost like, I love this sort of thing, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? That sort of
the goal changes though as well, though, right? The goal changes. So when I turned 20, it was all about and we've had this conversation a few times, but it's all about owning a nice car, being able to buy a house, having XYZ amount of affordable income and things like that. But then as time goes on and you get knocked back and you get destroyed, the goal changes. You change the goalposts. Everybody starts, and this is going to sound a little bit morbid now. Everybody starts aiming for the stars, and then as life beats them, they end up reining it back in a bit until they find their success in what they actually feel they can succeed in, and then when they achieve it, that gives them the same dopamine or the same release that they would have got if their goals in their 20s had been hit as well. And some people keep the same goals, but in my experience the goalposts always change. And again, we've also spoken before that if you achieve what you've set out to achieve, people don't tend to stop. They then go, well, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
I love this.
Sorry, I will let you finish. That can happen if you succeed or if you get destroyed as well. It just changes every time.
Yeah, I really like that, because what I like about that is you're redefining what success means to you.
Yeah.
I think, Lee, you talked about that, because remember you said about social media making influences, right? And then you went, I need to redefine what success actually means to me.
Yes.
And that's what I think, that's what I'm getting from what you said, Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
But you redefine the goal or the success regardless of whether the previous was a success or not a success.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's almost, if you don't meet it, you dust yourself off and you reboot and you restart. Or if you make it, then what's next? And you reboot and you restart. The process is almost the same, whether it's a win or whether it's a loss.
Yeah. You save for 10 years to be able to afford a deposit for a house. You set your eyes on a house and you love it, you fall in love with it, then you don't get it. Does that suddenly mean you stay where you are for the next 30 years until they move out and you try and get that house? Or do you reimagine the goal and go again? That's kind of that's how it kind of rings for me.
I really like that. I might have referenced this before on here, and I'm stealing it from someone else, another podcast I listened to, and it's someone who's very successful, and someone was asking for him advice on, providing my family, needing to level up what I do, etc., etc. And the host said, he said, the big secret to let you in on is we're all broke, just at different levels. If you're the sort of person who's goal orientated and success orientated, you're always aiming for that thing or those 2 or 3 things that are just out of your reach, and you keep pushing, and actually the mindset and the feeling and everything you go through is exactly the same, whether that's I need to get the shopping this week or I need to get my seat on the spaceship to go to the moon. Whatever it is, it's the same mentality in terms of pushing for that thing that's just out of your reach.
Yeah.
I think that's something that humans generally struggle with. If you ask somebody how easy is it to go and do your shopping compared to how easy is it to get a seat on a spaceship to the moon, everybody's going to go, well, obviously it's going to be easy to do the shopping. But if you break it down into micro steps, there are probably a lot of similarities between the two. There's just different context that you apply. Rather than walking out your house and going to the car, it's, I don't know, get a degree in space science. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? There's the process. Process isn't the same. The process is similar. It's just the context applied to the process is different depending on what it is.
Yeah, it might be the micro step. Might be to research that.
Yeah.
Get on the internet and have a little look.
Where's my nearest supermarket? Where's my nearest university?
Yeah. Use ChatGPT. Whatever.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Whatever.
Other AIs are available.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, and I think that's the thing as well. I mean, looking at this thing of defeat and all the things you said, and I think sometimes you can overwhelm yourself, and I think that redefining success is really important for you because what does it mean to you? But you can seem overwhelmed, but the overwhelm comes in. How do I set the smallest step? How do I just start the journey? How do I just take a very, 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 very small step and just see how we go? I love this. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
That's a great summing up point, I think. I'll do some wrapping up if that's all right, unless we've got some other thoughts on it. I think that's really, I think that's some really good motivation from that quote there, Jose. So thank you for that. If you like what we're doing, stick Jose Noya-Inspiration Nation into your Google machine, give you links to YouTube, TikTok, and the podcast.
YouTube.
Yeah, I love YouTube. Get on there, watch your videos on YouTube. Follow, hit subscribe. You'll be told on both YouTube and TikTok when we're going live each and every week, and you can get in and interact with the show as people have been doing today. And check out as well inspirationnation.org.uk, full archive, 5 years worth of content there now, great motivational stuff, as well as a shop where you can pick up hoodies, t-shirts, etc., all that good sort of stuff. We're going to do some takeaways.
Yeah.
Going to go to Ryan first.
Every outcome to every scenario is an opportunity to start again.
Love it.
That's a quote in itself, Ryan.
I try, mate.
Put it in the bank. Quote by
Ryan
Ryan Boniface.
Right. He's giggling right there. I love that.
We'll try it next week. We'll be like, right, and a quote from Ryan. Lee's probably going to bring home something Polish or something or other.
I really want to know what it was actually. I'm going to have to go back and
find
listen
the podcast.
To it.
Yeah.
If you go back in the archive, inspirationnation.org.uk, you can find out and have a listen to that. I'm just saying, it's not a takeaway as much, it's the mentality. I just want to embed in my brain and give a trigger to others, is that when you are feeling, when you are feeling destroyed, you are not defeated. It's just that. I just think it's such a good, reassuring thing to have when you're in that place, and it's really hard to ground yourself like that sometimes.
Yeah, love that. Yeah.
Jose.
Yeah, mine is. Go on. I was going to wait for you, but you took a bit too long, so I'm just going to jump in.
Very critical. Very critical.
Sorry. We are being very bold this today, aren't we? What's happening is because we were 3 now. I think we're just being bullshit. I think it's great. For me, it's You're not defined by your past. That's mine.
Love it. Love it. That's another great one. Really love that concept. Right. Thank you, guys. Brilliant subject. We will back again next week. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the show. Biggest thing you can do for us. Tell friends, tell family, send them a link to an episode, get them involved in what we're doing. And we will back next week. 3, 2, 1. Inspiration Nation.
Inspiration Nation.
Catch you
Catch
guys
you guys
later.
later.
Catch you guys later.
That's what I was waiting for. I just wanted the...
I thought you were going to go, and we gave a little